back to back. One of the things that I wanted to touch on is having an emergency or a contingency fund. All right. We need to have money that we can touch. Okay. If we were to have an emergency, okay, you have two different types of emergencies. You have mini emergencies. What we call mini emergencies are flat tire. You get sick, kids get sick, miss a couple days of work, no big deal. Broken window, oh, I got it. Okay, those are mini emergencies. You got any other examples of mini emergencies? I use the same ones all the time.
The water heater at home going out. I mean, that could be kind of drastic for certain people, but it's a mini emergency if you're prepared for. So things like that, certain things going out on your vehicle, things of that nature, those are considered to be mini emergencies because it usually can be handled for little to nothing, less than $1,000, can knock it out. Less than $3,000 can knock it out. That's a mini emergency.
Exactly. Under $3,000, you guys. So anything under $3,000, we consider a mini emergency. Sadly, when we work with some of the people that we mentor, we work with some of our business partners, and we ask them that question: do you have at least $3,000? And it's not to bash anyone, because again, we give you solutions. We help you to actually get that. But I always ask a person, just to, for one, see if they're paying attention to what I'm saying. I say, do you have about $3,000 that you can touch if you had a mini emergency? And a lot of our people don't. Here's another fun fact for you guys. Most Americans don't even have $1,000 in the bank that they can touch. $1,000. So I want you to think about what that means. I want you to think about what that means for a person who has an emergency, all right? That emergency now turns into stress, turns into panic, turns into a much bigger problem because you don't have the money. When you have the money, it's just an inconvenience. Okay, so you have a mini emergency. Then you have a big emergency, what I consider a real emergency. I mean, like a real emergency. I actually shared this on my personal page earlier today. People are losing their jobs left and right. I'm serious. Left and right. Being laid off. Being fired. Just out of the blue. I mean, going to work and being told, look, you got 2 weeks. We shutting this place down. Okay? That's a real emergency. That's something that you want to, for one, a lot of people go into shock. A lot of people go into panic or concern, like, what the heck am I going to do without this job? But again, we have to be financially prepared. It's something that my husband says all the time. We have to be proactive about our money, not reactive.
That's good.
Okay? So we have to be proactive, meaning we have to start planning early. Again, new year, new you, right? New year, new money, right? How about we start getting these emergency funds together? And I'll just give you guys just our example of a real emergency, because again, I use the example of being laid off and being fired all the time. Let's talk like real emergency, all right? When I was pregnant with the twins, they came 2.5 months early. 2.5 months early. Premature, okay? So think about what that means and what that meant for us and for them. 2.5 months early means a 2.5 month stay in the ICU, in the hospital, okay? Most people cannot handle that type of emergency. I just have to keep it real with you. Most people cannot handle that type of emergency, because when you think about being in a hospital with them for 2.5 months, you're thinking the possibility of no income coming in, the possibility of not going to work, the possibility of some bills getting cut off. But again, because we were proactive about our money, it was nothing. Financially, we had no care in the world. We knew nothing would get cut off. We knew all of our bills would continue to be paid on time, because we actually worked that out on the front end. All right, we worked that out. We had our emergency funds together. So not only did we have our mini emergency fund, we had our real emergency fund, which is a minimum of 6 months worth of living expenses. You need to have that somewhere where you can touch. Again, 2.5 months in the hospital, 2.5 months of no work for me. All right, 2.5 months of no work for Marcus. He went here and there. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. he didn't really go that much. He could have easily been fired. Okay, I could have easily been fired. Instead, we said bye-bye jobs, because again, we were financially prepared for that type of emergency. And when I think back, I'm just really, really grateful again for being proactive about our money, because when I think of other people, when I think of everyday people, if they were to go through an emergency like that, they would have went back to work. And I couldn't even imagine going back to work. I mean, after my little maternity leave was over, what is it, 4 weeks, 6 weeks or something like that? I don't even know. If I would have went back to work while my babies were in the hospital, y'all, I would have been no good at that job. No good whatsoever, because not only that, the NICU, which is, the neonatal ICU, they're calling you, letting you know how your baby's doing, letting you know if they had any backslides. It's really, really, it can be stressful. But the last thing you need is a financial emergency. All right, you not being prepared financially. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I love telling that story, even though sometimes I can get a little emotional. I love telling that story about them being in the hospital, because we did not have a care in the world as it pertains to finances, and we want that for everybody. That's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about teaching financial education, is because when things like that happen, I want our people to be prepared. I want our people to not worry about that, not stress out about that.